Hello and welcome to another Manchester City podcast YouTube channel. I'm your host Adam Marrett, and on this episode we're going to be looking at there's been a host of transfer stories that have emerged over the past couple of days. We're going to have a quick look at them in terms of what City could do in January and next summer, especially with one name in particular. The big one over the past couple of days has been the links for City with Bruno Guimaraes. That started with a good article from Craig Hope of the Daily Mail. He's a very good reporter, especially on all things Newcastle. As you've seen over the past couple of days with the Times, ESPN and the Telegraph, the Guimaraes to City in January links are growing, so there may be something to it all there. He's scored today for Newcastle, so of course people are going to kick off more about City moving for him, but when you look at a player that could immediately step in and solve some of City's midfield issues, he would nearly be perfect for it. He's Premier League proven, a Brazilian international, although that's not the title it used to be. But all round, Guimaraes is a very good player, and we were heavily linked with him in this last summer, although we didn't want to pay the $100 million release clause in his contract, which is probably understandable. He's not a £100 million player, though who he is, I'll get to that point shortly. So looking at it, Guimaraes is one player. You could look at if City are going to go big in January, he would be it. Comes in, as I said, Premier League proven. Newcastle's captain, is leader, and City lack that in midfield. So you look at it, provided Newcastle are willing to sell, which from all reports from Craig Hope and various others, they're under pressure with PSR and financial fair play regulations, which I don't agree with given their owner's wealth, but that's a different topic altogether. So there is a potential for City to step in and make the move and just get it done. I'm of the opinion, I'm sick of seeing City haggle for money or sit tight on transfers. If Guimaraes wants to make the move in January, which I think Paul Hurst, it was reported that he's open to the possibility of moving in January, just get it done, pay the price and get it done. City can't afford to dawdle in January. The market in January is typically a difficult one, but if Guimaraes wants to move and is open to it, and Newcastle said if he just pay it, get it done and move on to the next one, I think there's a multitude of moves we need to make in January, but he's the big one. That's what everyone, you can gauge reading X, everyone wants to see as a player City sign. He's the Brazilian international Guimaraes, Newcastle's captain. Very good player. More than very good, actually. He's an elite player. Would fill a massive hole in City's midfield. There's also the possibility to consider, could City move for two midfielders? I believe they have to. One's not going to be enough. You can see how much Gundogan, Bernardo, De Bruyne with his injuries, and Co are struggling. Rodri's not back this season, so although there's been a heap of videos and people celebrating how fit he looks, training in the gym, from my point of view, having played Australian rules football at a decent level, I've seen many a mate go down with an ACL injury. It's a long road. Yeah, you can run and jog and walk, but getting back to playing any form of sport after an ACL is a good 9-month, 10-month journey. If you're lucky, that's with no setbacks. So the excitement on those videos needs to be tempered a little bit. So if you take it from the prism, Rodri's not back till the FIFA Club World Cup. There's merit to buying two midfielders. ESPN reported that City, their reports are floating around on X, Twitter, that City could aim to sign Zubimendi and Guimaraes next month, which would be perfect, really. You would fill two holes. Guimaraes could play as an 6'8" hybrid, and Zubimendi do the grunt work sitting back as a number 6 defensive midfielder, which is what his specialty is. He's not the same type of player, Rodri, although he plays the same role for Spain, but as a player, he is exceptional. So they're the two that have cropped up. There's obviously been the Adam Wharton, Edison links from Atalanta, but I can't see them selling him, although he's a player, as if you follow my writing on esteemedcompany.com, he's a player I think's perfect for City's midfield, and it's a player I'd be pushing for City to sign if I ran the club, but I don't. It's just my opinion. We can all agree to disagree on those ones. I can't see a move for Adam Wharton happening in the summer. He's been injured for a while, and what City need to what he'd provide aren't the same things. He's younger, he'll need time if City were to sign him, and that looks more like a summer move more than a January move. That's just talking about Adam Wharton. But back to Gimaresh, it does seem to be growing the links. There have been reports that talks could take place between the two clubs imminently, so that's one to look out for. It seems to be growing by the day or by the hour. So it does look like City are going to make a move there. We'll see in the next couple of weeks whether or not that forms into anything more substantial. The other one, and the big one, which I think is a summer transfer, although, and I won't steal someone else's thunder, there was reports City could push for him in January, was by a Leverkusen star, Florian Wirtz. I just watched Leverkusen against Augsburg. He's a special player. Of the two German superstars, young superstars that City have been linked with, Musiala and Wirtz, I think, in my opinion, Wirtz is a step above Musiala, although both of them are just special players altogether. The Telegraph at times and a host of other outlets have reported City's interest in him, but there was one that stands out to me, and that was Christian Falk's daily briefing column. He wrote in that Pep Guardiola's extension could see Wirtz choose City as his destination in the summer, because that's when I think a move for Wirtz is more possible as a summer move rather than a January one, although we can all hope that City decides to throw money at it. He's that good, you would. As I said, watched him an hour ago. He's a special player. If it was my money, you'd throw 200 million at him at Leverkusen. That's how good he is. Everything he does is effortless. His reputation's well earned. It's not a secret how good a player he is, but just having watched him for Leverkusen's last match, he's everything City need in a potential, I won't say De Bruyne replacement because there isn't one, but he's just a special footballer. Obviously, he'd be a dream January signing, but I don't think that's realistic. Although you never know. Transfers can chop and change, so who knows. But as a summer target, he'd be number one for me. He'd be a dream signing. I wrote that earlier this week for esteemedcompany.com, but just haven't watched him. He's special. There's another one from Leverkusen who's been linked to City, but he's also been linked to Liverpool, Man United in recent days, as Jeremy Frimpong. But I haven't watched him. He's more of a right winger than he is a fullback or right back, which is something we need. He stands out with his pace. His delivery going forward's brilliant. He just doesn't stop. There's shades of Cafu, the Brazilian right back, in his game. If people can remember who he is for the older generation, he was something else. But they were two I saw. But back to Wirtz, he's just the player City have to throw every stop out to try and sign him. If you're going to rebuild City's midfield in the summer, and looks like it may start in January as well, he's a player I'd be throwing the proverbial bank at. He fits every bill that City need. I won't say you could replace De Bruyne, but you could offer something else, but it's an exciting prospect if City could hypothetically sign Wirtz and add him to Foden and Haaland and players like Gvardiol. That would be City's future secure for the next 5+ years to try and extend the era of dominance, because this season is not a formality in any sense. Just seeing Liverpool struggle with it down to 10 men against Fulham, although they did equalise just before I started this video. So there is that. And some other links, obviously Zubimendi's name's been everywhere, which it will be. Same with Bruno Guimaraes. Adam Wharton tentatively has been linked, but I can't see that happening, as I said earlier. Ederson's another one. I just can't see Atalanta selling him. They won again today. That's 10 straight in the league for them, and they're flying. Can't see them crippling their title chase to sell probably one of their top 1 or 2 most important players outside of Lookman. So there's a host of names there. Another one, I think it was Give Me Sport, reported it was Anthony Robinson from Fulham. Watching him play against Liverpool, he's played really well again. He's a left back. I think there's merit to City moving for him. Just play him at left back, slide Guardiola centre back, move Akanji to the right back position, and use Walker as depth till next summer. I think there's real merit to it. But all of that's just pie in the sky at this stage. I don't know how solid City's interest in him is. He has been linked with Liverpool as well, so there could be a race in January for him, although looking at how well Fulham have gone, I can't see them selling him in January unless it's a massive offer. Now, looking at all the Times, the Telegraph reports, City's rebuild's coming, and it looks like it's going to start in January, in dribs and drabs, so to speak. So there's a fair bit of transfer action coming. You'd have to be oblivious to what's happened with City this season to not see that the market's going to be a key point in City's season. I think there's 4 games starting tomorrow with a derby before the window opens, so if City can somehow scrape together 3 wins and a draw, or 4 wins, and then hit the market properly and add some real quality, they might set themselves up for what lies ahead after the market. Players like Bruno Guimaraes, I think there's a big chance that move could happen based on more recent reports. The Craig Hope one that started it for the Daily Mail, that was the big tip-off. And there might be more to come, more links. There will obviously be the rebuttal pieces that come with the transfer stories, but we'll see what happens. The Guimaraes one, Zubimendi's another, but he's got interest from Liverpool and Arsenal by all reports, which is understandable given how good a player he is. Edison, as I've said countless amounts of times with my articles and said earlier, he's my dream midfield signing given what he offers all over the pitch with his energy, and he's technically brilliant. And he's tough. There's a lot of Fernandinho to his game, in my opinion. But I don't think that's a likely move. That's more, I think he's available in the summer for someone, whether it's City or someone else, whether we do all our midfield work as in regards to a Rodri replacement in January and move on to other areas in the summer. So Edison's a watch this space, but I think he's more of a summer move than a January move. Although there are reports he's flattered by City's interest, so you never know. Wharton I've covered. I don't think there's any possibility City will go there in January. It just doesn't fit. We've got enough injury issues. We don't need to add another player coming off the back of one. And I don't think he's ready for what City need. Right back's an issue. Frimpong's been linked. Hasn't been many other right backs linked. Frimpong's got a reported release clause. Watching him play for Bayer Leverkusen, he looks like more of a winger. Right midfielder, right winger. But although he could do a job, and there's merit to the idea of City moving for him, I'd love to see him in a City shirt and City move for him, especially in January. But I'm more in the camp of signing Anthony Robinson, for example. As I've mentioned, slide Guardiola across and Akanji to right back. I think it's got more merit. Anyway, that's my brief transfer update for a couple of days of big stories from the Telegraph, the Times, and various other outlets, ESPN as well. So I'll leave it at that for now. I'm hoping I'll jump back on tomorrow to an in-depth preview of the Manchester derby tomorrow. Sorry for the lack of content for 2 days. When you have young children, they do get sick, so I've been dealing with my son's gastro rather than focusing on City matters. Thanks for your time. Hit the subscribe and like button. I'm Adam Marrett, and I'll be back tomorrow to preview the Manchester derby ahead of a big game tomorrow. Thanks.